Most of us remember the story of Jesus calling his first disciples in Luke chapter 5 as a practical Sunday school lesson. The standard mental picture is simple. Jesus climbs into Peter's boat and pushes out from the shore to use the water as a natural acoustic amplifier to preach to the crowds. This reading produces a familiar takeaway. Jesus acts as a divine life coach, giving his disciples a pep talk and a salvation program to go sell door to door. This framework overlooks the ancient context of the story. It ignores the specific geographic details Luke uses to signal that something much more dangerous than a sermon is happening on the shore. This ancient Greek papyrus illustrates the physical constraints of first-century writing. Authors lacked space for trivial acoustic tricks. Every geographic detail was chosen with theological intent. Luke places Jesus on the water to communicate a specific message. The setting is the vehicle for meaning. To understand the weight of the scene, we have to look at the terrifying symbolism the ancient world attached to the water itself. In ancient Jewish literature, the waters are known as the deep. This is a place of chaos, death, and the forces of the enemy. This creates a striking anomaly. Throughout the Hebrew scriptures, prophets deliver their warnings on solid ground, in temple courts, at city gates, or in the wilderness. For a prophet to speak from the water is almost unheard of. There is only one significant exception in the biblical record: Jonah, the prophet who attempted to flee from his divine mission. Jonah was commanded to bring a message of repentance to Nineveh, the Assyrian capital. This stone relief shows the military ruthlessness that Jonah was trying to avoid when he turned his back on the city and fled to the sea. That rebellion ended with Jonah facing God's wrath in the midst of a storm. He was sacrificed into the deep to lives of the men on his boat. By preaching from the water, Jesus is deliberately stepping into the Jonah narrative. He is positioning himself in the place of the failed prophet to signal a shift in the story. Jesus acts as the Anti-Jonah. While Jonah fled from the chaos of the deep in fear, Jesus marches directly toward it. This ancient fishing boat hull is a reminder of the frailty of the disciples' world. Jesus sitting on the water serves as a visual condemnation of the religious establishment's failures, a sign God is judging his people from the very place of death they fear most. When Peter recognizes the authority of the man in his boat, he falls to his knees. He is terrified, begging the judge of sinners to stay away from him. Peter is an experienced fisherman. He isn't afraid of the water. He is paralyzed by the realization that he is standing face to face with divine justice. Yet, Jesus responds to Peter's confession with 4 words: "Do not be afraid." Jesus has descended into the chaos of the deep to wage a war on Peter's behalf, taking the judgment Peter feared upon himself. The mandate to be fishers of men takes on a new meaning in this light. Jesus is the primary fisherman. He is the one diving into the grave to pull humanity back from the edge of the deep. This defines Jesus as a champion who accomplishes the work for us, rather than a guru who provides a spiritual checklist for us to complete. Because the champion has already faced the final judgment, the verdict for those who follow him is secure. This raises a new question. What is the purpose of a person's life once the fear of judgment is gone? It opens the door for a life of co-ruling with Christ in the present. This work happens through the mundane and repetitive tasks of everyday life, serving neighbors and fulfilling the responsibilities of a household. Ordinary life is no longer a performance to earn a standing. It is an active participation in the building of a new creation.